Hello everybody, I'm the Worm and welcome back to Danganronpa v3. It is now time for our third trial. And I do feel somewhat prepared, but I have to say I'm prepared in the sense that, you know, we went through all these, and so I'm pretty sure I understand all the different truth bullets we have. But in terms of how these events actually occurred, how the murders happened, I feel at a loss. Particularly with Angie. There's a lot of mystery here, and I'm worried whether or not I'll be able to unravel the locked room mystery there. In the time since the last episode, I did go ahead and skimmed over a few of the... Oh, that's interesting. Look at that. If I press the right shoulder button, that speeds up the text scroll on the screen. Huh. Okay. As I was saying, I skimmed over some of the past episodes. I wanted to check a few things. So one of the things I checked, I remember I was at one point suspicious about Tsumugi, and I went back. What she said that made me somewhat suspicious was regarding Angie, we just discovered, had been killed, and so Tsumugi was suggesting that perhaps the resurrected student was responsible for killing her. And at the time, I had thought that this could be a part of the trial where that actually, the question of whether or not someone's resurrected that question is part of the trial, and we'd have to figure that out. I'm gonna go ahead and think that no, a student was not resurrected. And the culprit is going to be one of us, currently living. That's my thought on that. So I'm much less suspicious. I mean, it's not like I instantly thought she was the culprit or anything, but I find that a bit less suspicious than I did at the time. The other big thing that I wanted to check, something that confused me was, and I don't think we may have gotten a straight answer on this, but I think it's still a bit up in the air. We know that Angie made it a rule forbidding anyone to be up at night. But I was confused on whether or not, or I should say, exactly how was that enforced? We know that when Maki returned from her exercise with us, she surrounded her with the student council and told her that she can't go out at night. But beyond that little intimidation there, I didn't know. For a while, I thought that they were doing something like patrolling around at night, the student counselors. But I don't think that's the case. Now, Now, who's to say how extreme they would have gotten if this had continued, if the whole student council thing had continued beyond this section of the game? But it looks like it was mostly just them trying to intimidate and not doing anything else, because what I saw, it was after Angie had been killed, and Gonta, he said something like, it's impossible that she could have been killed because everyone was asleep. And he said, because of that, the rule that Angie made, everyone, including the counselors, should have remained in their rooms at night and not gone out. So that indicates to me that it was more like a strong suggestion rather than the student counselors actually enforcing it and watching for people and preventing them from going out at night. And that raises some interesting questions for me. Among them, what was Himiko doing on the night that we went to try to stop Angie? So, if you'll recall, it was the Nighttime Conspiracy. That was the episode title. Tenko got Maki and Shuichi to go to Angie and persuade her to stop what she was doing. And after we failed to do that, we walked out of the room, and Himiko suddenly showed up. Now, if Gonta is telling the truth, then as one of the students, certainly they wanted all the students to be staying in their rooms at night, but especially the student counselors who were except Tenko, of course, all the student counselors who were at her beck and call, you would think they would especially be following that rule. And yet, Himiko just shows up. And no one asks her what she's doing or what she's there for. And she is confused to see us there. And then, Angie tells her that Tenko had betrayed them, and they have Tenko has a bit of an emotional moment where she tries to get Himiko to come to her senses, in a sense. And then we just leave. And of course, that is the night that Angie is killed. So, and it's also interesting that following morning, when we go to Angie's lab, who do we find standing right outside the door? It's Himiko again, who has been apparently she's been calling out to Angie, but Angie's not answering her. So, with that in mind, my current thoughts. Now, of course, I don't know about a motive or anything like that at this point, but I've got to remember that usually in these Danganronpa games, I feel like the scenario. I feel like happenstance usually plays a good role in some of these. Now, of course, that's not always the case. There are times throughout the games where some of these are absolutely, completely planned out. But in other times, not so much. So, I could try to think about what a motive would be, but it could be anything really at this point. So I just have to think about the facts of the case. And certainly, we know that night, Himiko was out and about. And we know that she had gone, because again, she didn't know we were going to be at that lab, so she, for whatever reason, at night, had gone to go see Angie. Now, that's that. The other the other one that I find more suspicious is Kibo. He dropped a few startling... Well, it was really just one. He dropped a kind of startling revelation on us at the end of last episode. Or in the latter half of last episode. Where it turns out, apparently he's hearing a voice in his head that he follows. Or he does what it says, or tells him to do, and it gives him hope. Now that certainly sounds nice, but I find it a bit worrying. Now I don't know if this is if that was kind of almost a red herring or something, or maybe it'll pop up later. Like we saw that stone, what was it? Horse A, although now there's more to it. And that's a kind of ongoing mystery as we go throughout these chapters. Now, so is Kibo mentioning he's hearing voices, is that going to be relevant for this particular trial or something in the future? I don't know. But certainly that combined with the fact that Miyu apparently gave him... We know she performed maintenance on him. It was kind of a... It was meant to be a bit of a comedic scene. But she is the one who installed his glowing eyes. Which could be useful if you're trying to... if you're going to be in absolute darkness under some floorboards, for example. So... Again, I don't know why Kibo... going along with that theory, I don't know why Miyu would want to kill whoever was at the center of that seance. And again, this goes back to my question about who the target of that second killing was. Man, there's so much I feel so confused about on this one. I guess we're just gonna hope that this, you know, what we can reveal in the conversations with people will really help out. Also, we know that Kibo and Miyu were not directly involved in the seance, so they were certainly out and about and able to do what they, whatever they wanted to do during that time. Yeah. Of course, what tends to happen in these trials, I feel across all the Danganronpa games, is usually my initial ideas are completely... By the end of it, they're completely unrelated to what actually happened. So initially I'm saying maybe Kibo and Himiko could be a pair of culprits this time, but who knows? By the end of it, it's gonna be... I don't know. It'll end up being Tsumugi. Something like that. Just someone I just am not thinking of. Okay. We went through all the truth bullets last time. No need to do that again. Let's do this. Let's start this trial. Good luck to all of us. Did I loaded in... Yeah, I loaded the game again, and so I have not bought... I think I'm actually not gonna buy this one. I'm gonna save my... friendship... What are they called? Whatever our currency is. I'm gonna try to save up and get lost in thought. I feel like just having a bigger time limit would make me feel safer. Okay. Alright, that's that. Let's do this. I need to remember that I can pause during these.
Now then, let's begin with the basic explanation of the class trial.
Yeah, I need to remember that I can, at any moment during the timed sections, I can press a button and be looking at the truth bullets. So I think that would be useful to do. Also, try to remember that if we hear voices during some non-stop debates, that'll mean that we have a back route. But of course, you know, I'm not I'm not really, I would say I'm a completionist, so I'm not gonna, you know, I'm just gonna naturally play the game. If I'm not able to get it, I won't be able to get it, but I'll try to keep it in mind. Okay.
During the trial, you'll present your arguments for who the culprit is, and vote for who done it. Vote correctly, and only the blackened will be punished. But if you pick the wrong person, I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and that person will graduate from this academy. Also, refusing to vote will result in your death. So you better vote for someone. Now, smiles, everyone! It's showtime! Let's get this crazy awesome trial underway!
Sorry, everyone. I don't think I'm gonna be much help this time.
Yeah, you've been out of commission for a while. I did somewhat facetiously float the notion that Kaido started acting sick and holed up in his room, and that potentially could serve as a kind of cover where we could say, oh, where were you during this? And he could say, ah, well, I was just sick in my room. But, and again, I get it. Okay, this is my bias, but I'm not gonna seriously doubt my man, Kaito. So, and I know that's the wrong attitude to have, but that's how I feel at the moment. You know, we'll have to see, but yeah.
Because of Monokuma's disruptions, I couldn't do a thorough investigation.
I can tell Monokuma is overcompensating to hide his self-consciousness.
Next time, spend less time fixing your hair and more time investigating, spaceman!
Shut up! I don't need to hear some comedy act from you two weirdos.
Who did it? Who killed Angie and Tenko?
Do not let your emotions hasten your judgment. There may be two killers.
Thank you, Kyo, for setting us straight. That is an important point that needs to be made.
So, our other culprit might not be one of us here.
Hmm? What do you mean?
The transfer student.
Okay, so we are gonna do this, huh? We're gonna have to dedicate a part of this trial to messing with this idea that there's a resurrected student. Okay.
Maybe our resurrected transfer student dragged Angie and Tenko into the grave.
Stop it! Stop making stuff up!
Say something, Shuichi. It'll be a mess if this keeps going on.
Okay, so good we're getting this cleared up straight away.
This crime was committed by the recently deceased. They came back to life and killed 2 of our classmates!
No! So, ritual did work?
Who was resurrected, I wonder?
Angie did say she was gonna bring Rantaro back. Yes, Rantaro was resurrected. The culprit is the late Rantaro Amami!
Please, stop it!
This crime was committed by the recently deceased. They came back to life and killed 2 of our classmates!
No! Ritual did?
There we go.
That's wrong!
Yeah, because the ritual's all wrong.
I don't think Angie's ritual succeeded. According to the Necronomicon Monokuma showed us, you have to burn the Necronomicon in the ritual.
After preparing the effigy, burn this Necronomicon to ashes. Use caution, be mindful of carbon monoxide poisoning. Sprinkle the ashes on the effigy, repeat the name of the deceased 3 times.
If Angie's ritual had succeeded, the book would have been gone.
So she must have been killed before the ritual was complete, since the book was still intact.
Then, going to think Rantaro probably not culprit.
I should have just said that. I was just dismissing the idea of a resurrected student out of hand. But yeah, we have clear evidence from the dang ritual itself that it wasn't even completed, so yeah.
Oh, I guess you're right.
Well, duh. There's no way a dead person could resurrect.
Now hold on a second! I can't let that comment stand! Sure, everybody knows that you can't bring the dead back to life. But it's easy at the Ultimate Academy, as long as you use the Necronomicon.
What are you talking about? There's no way that's possible.
But it's true. I never lie about motives.
Daddy said so he can't be wrong. Raising the dead is totally possible.
Man, I can't believe you guys wasted such a perfectly good motive. You should have let me use it to bring Monodum back to life.
Monodum is still alive, though.
I'm just kidding. I wouldn't waste a resurrection on Monodum's corpse.
Oh? So resurrecting the dead was actually possible this whole time?
There's no way it's possible!
There's no way that could happen, idiots. Monokuma is trying to confuse us.
Oh my. I just noticed. Angie got, special markings on her portrait. I see a halo on top. What are the... Oh, wings. Halo and wings. I see. Well, why does she get special treatment? Everyone else just gets an X. Yeah, I mean... so, the resurrection being possible. I mean, if this is a DR2 situation that we happen to find ourselves in, then... yeah, I could believe it. But if it's not something like that, then no.
Let's hurry up and find out who the Blackened is.
If our transfer student isn't the culprit, then blame falls to one of us.
Who? Who did it?
I think it's possibly you, Himiko.
Step aside, Half Pint. I'll handle this. I don't know about Tenko, but I'm pretty fucking sure Kyo murdered Angie.
Alright.
What? Why?
Don't play dumb with me, Creepshow. I already know what happened.
Alright, let's hear it. Oh my goodness, okay, locked room time.
The culprit used a katana to kill Angie.
Oh, I see.
And it was found in Kyo's research lab. Which makes you, Kyo, automatically suspicious.
But anyone could have taken that katana, you see.
So that rusty katana was the murder weapon. You were the only one who cared about that thing, Kyo.
I did not care about some katana.
Just admit it, you shit-eating worm. You went to the classroom, broke in, and murdered the fuck out of Angie! Oh yeah! I'm a fucking genius! The culprit used a katana to kill...
Okay, I'm a bit confused on... I think I want to say this.
Angie. And it was found in Kyo's research lab. Which makes you, Kyo, automatically suspicious.
But
Rusty katana was the murder weapon. You were the only one who cared about that thing, Kyo.
I did not care about some katana.
Just admit it, you shit-eating worm. You went to the classroom.
There we go.
That's wrong! No, Kyo would not have been able to enter Angie's lab. Isn't that right, Tsumugi?
Yeah. Before Angie locked herself up in her research lab, she said she wasn't going to open up for anyone but student council members.
And Kyo is not a member. She wouldn't have opened the door for him.
Kyo couldn't have killed Angie even if he wanted to.
I had no desire to kill her in the first place.
So whoever killed Angie must have been one of the student council members, yeah?
That seems to be where we're going. I just worry... it's that thing where I don't know if this is... I mean, it seems logical, right? But I don't know if the game's gonna do another fake out or something, you know?
I was doing a bit to lead you to the right answer. Can't believe you actually got it.
Oh, how clever.
You can just ignore her, Gonta.
The remaining student council members are Gonta, Kibo, Samugi, and Himiko.
Well, it can't be Himiko. She was besties with Angie. I trust their friendship. You guys do too, right?
Well, whether or not I trust it, what we have to do is trust the facts of the case. Right? That's what detectives say, right, Shuichi?
Yeah, of course.
Can we trust their friendship so readily?
Okay, so if we're gonna be if suspicion is going to get placed on Himiko this early, then she's probably not the killer. That's meta reasoning there, but that just tends to be the case, right?
Obviously. Let's believe in them.
That trims our list of suspects down to 3. Gonta, Samugi, and Kibo.
Oh wow, okay. So we're not even gonna... Not even gonna... Okay.
Yep. The culprit is one of those 3 people.
Okay, I have a feeling Kokichi is... well, pulling our leg in a sense.
You mean one of those 2 people? 'Cause a robot ain't people, Jack!
I will let that remark slide. Anyway, aren't these accusations just a tad too hasty?
What else? The culprit should confess already. Gonta, Keyboy, or Samugi? Well...
No, not Gonta. Gonta would never kill Angie.
Yeah, Gonta's a gentleman. You shouldn't suspect either of us.
Hey, stick up for me too.
Gonta definitely not hurt anyone. Torture Gonta if you don't believe.
Torture might be a bit too far, but Gonta and I aren't the culprits.
And I'm not the culprit either. Jeez.
Gonta
I'm not the culprit.
Not the culprit.
Uh-oh. Alright. Mass panic debate.
We must consider other possibilities. Surely there must be suspects outside the student council.
Student council.
That's utterly impossible.
A dead chick
Not just
can't be
anyone
the
can open
culprit.
that door.
Why?
Only student council members had
Late
access.
at night.
Look,
Okay, I see one.
I didn't know robots told such boring lies.
But it's definitely not
Is
me.
that a robophobic remark?
It was, Kibo, I'm sorry. Okay, I see what to
We must
do.
consider other possibilities. Surely there must be suspects
Gentlemen,
outside the
not
student
betray
council.
student council.
That's utterly impossible.
A dead chick
Not just
can't be the
anyone can open
culprit.
that door.
Why?
Only student council members.
I heard it!
Okay. Man, those are so stressful.
No, it wasn't just student council members that could have opened that lab door.
What was it you said earlier about Kyo opening the door, Shuichi? Unless you're a student council member, you can't enter Angie's lab, right?
I was referring to Kyo. He couldn't have done it, but you could have. Because I saw you open the classroom lock by picking it.
Oh, that happened? I totally forgot.
So you're going to pretend you don't remember, huh?
Quit glaring at me like that. Of course I remember. Yeah, I did it. I killed Angie.
Uh-huh. Okay, Kokichi, what game are you playing? What's, Of course, the guy who, in the last trial, I was totally hoping I could pin it on and you know, have him get voted out. Of course, when he admits to the crime now I have second thoughts. You're just gonna say it's a lie, aren't you? This is gonna be your next sentence is gonna be it's a lie, right?
Wait, what? What did you just say?
I picked the lock to her lab, snuck into the room, and then wham! Killed Angie.
But that wasn't what killed her. She was killed by a fatal stab wound to the torso. This is quite an admission, Kokichi. But if what you're saying is an accurate recounting of what you did, then you did not kill Angie.
The culprit was me, all along.
What?
What are you saying? Is this some kind of joke?
Nah, no joke. I thought that if I confessed, I could atone for my sins.
And I think he knows this too. I mean, we all get the Monokuma file. So the only reason I could think he's doing this is just for fun, right?
And it helped. I feel so much better. Whew!
Wait, so Kokichi really is culprit?
No, he's lying. I think. Maybe?
He's lying. I'm certain of it.
No, definitely not a lie. I killed Angie. Shouldn't you guys believe the culprit when they confess?
Not when they lie.
Then let me ask you, culprit. How did you lock the room?
Huh? Well, it's the same as opening it. You pick the door closed from the outside.
No, that doesn't make sense.
Okay, maybe there's something else here.
Huh? What doesn't make sense? Can't you lock a door by picking it?
Maybe, but that's not how the culprit locked the room. They used a different method.
I mean, I know we have the... Still don't know any about this bloody duct tape. Where was the... It was the sliding lock that has the gold thing on it. The gold flakes. Is that what Shuichi's referring to, or something else?
What different method? Yeah, Mumbles. Use your big boy voice and explain yourself.
There were 2 doors to the classroom, and the one locked last was...
The back door.
That's it!
Yes.
The back door. That's how they made this a locked room mystery.
The back door had a sliding lock, yes? How was it locked from the outside?
The culprit used a certain tool.
Used a certain tool. This sliding lock was locked from the outside? Okay, didn't know that. Are they suggesting it was the katana or something else? Oh boy. Okay. A minigame I'm bad at. I don't think it's the sickle. Is it the sickle? That's the only thing I'm seeing. No, up here. No. Oh, that was the dang... That was the sheath. Dang it. It was the sheath, not the...
I see it!
Well, I wasted a lot of time there.
The gold leaf katana that was stabbed into Kaede's effigy.
Yeah, the sheath was back in Kyo's room, but I wasn't paying attention. I thought it was the katana was in the sheath. I didn't see that the katana was separate. Okay.
The culprit used that to hit the knob of the sliding lock to lock the door.
And you're saying he did this from the outside?
So the gold leaf was on the sliding lock
Because when the katana hit the lock, some of the gold leaf rubbed off on it.
I'm confused, because somehow after the... Well... That katana has to end up in the Kaede effigy at some point. See, where I thought they were going was where it was going to be Kokichi knocked her out. And then someone else came and did something else. Now I'm kind of thrown off.
The gold leaf on that katana did peel rather easily.
That evidence rings a bell. Specifically, a school bell.
Okay, but why? Why would they do that?
Huh? Are you talking about a different school? What school was it?
Now, that doesn't matter anymore. Let's not dwell on the past.
Yeah.
Ooh, the gold leaf landed on the sliding lock when the katana touched it. So that means the culprit used the katana to move the sliding lock, right? But wait, how did they move it with the katana? And from outside Angie's lab?
Yeah, those are my questions, Kokichi.
The clue that might give us the answer is the layout of the area itself.
Alright, does someone have a map?
It was an odd setup after all. The katana stabbed into the effigy. The effigies hung upside down.
Angie didn't do that as part of the ritual?
Nope. Hanging the effigies was not part of the ritual.
No. Nowhere in the Necronomicon did it say you had to hang the effigies.
If it was not part of the ritual, then it must have been for a different purpose, right?
I mean, if hanging the effigies wasn't simply done to be creepy and freak us out. I'm trying to think... Something to do with the ceiling, maybe? Because I remember they made a note to describe... What would it be? The cross beams up top? Something like that? Oh my goodness. Okay, we're doing this, huh? Oh my goodness, look at all those squares. Alright, be on the lookout for any Monokumas. What? Trick? No. What? What? What turned the handle of the sliding lock? Oh, dang it. Not paying attention. Well, that's just not good. Alright, what are the options? Well, I thought we established this already. Yeah, okay. Oh, shucks. What was done to make the katana turn the lock? All right, what are my options? Katana was stabbed into the effigy? I mean, that's just what we saw. That's what was there. Still kind of confused. Did they make the effigy swing toward the door or something? I'm still confused. How was the effigy manipulated to make the katana affect the lock? Alright, what are the answers? Swinging it back and forth? No. Spinning it then. So they spun it around. What kind of complicated wackiness?
That's it. The reason the culprit stuck the katana into the effigy.
Hang on, I'm trying to just imagine this for myself first. So what? They set the effigies up in such a way so that it would be spinning, and so then the culprit would leave, and then as the effigies spun, the one with the katana in it then locked it? Okay, tell me, Shuichi, because that sounds awfully... Well, how would you even think of that in the moment?
Was so that it would hit the sliding lock as the effigy spun.
Effigy spun?
That's right. If you spun the effigy, the rope it was hanging from would twist.
Yeah.
Then, if you let it go, the rope would unwind and the effigy would spin the other way. And of course, the katana would spin with it.
I see. So the culprit used the katana's counterspin to push the lock into place?
Wow, okay.
The culprit simply needed to spin the effigy's rope, and then swiftly leave. This would cause the spinning katana to hit the sliding lock, and thus was the back door of an empty classroom locked from the inside.
Yes, that's how Angie's lab was locked. By using the effigy with a katana.
A plan born from the heart of a sword traveling through the air to intercept us.
I don't know, man. I feel like I would have been much... I mean, okay.
Oh, but could it have moved the slide lock so easily?
The sliding lock was pretty loose. A little push could move it. As long as the spinning katana hit the lock, it would have slid into position.
Even if the culprit failed the first couple times, they could keep trying until it locked.
Which is why the culprit chose to strike at nighttime, as to avoid detection.
Yes, since the student council prohibited anyone from walking around at nighttime.
Are you saying it's the student council's fault?
I didn't say that.
Yeah, okay.
In any case, the culprit probably used the murder weapon for this trick. It had to have been the right length to hit the sliding lock from the effigy.
The culprit couldn't find a blade long enough in my lab, so they settled for the katana.
The other effigies were only hung up so we'd think it was some kind of ceremony.
Okay.
That way, we wouldn't notice the lock trick.
But
I mean,
Kokichi did say earlier that he could have picked the lock closed.
I shouldn't have clicked off that CG so quickly. Just from that picture, it did not look like the katana was in the right place to hit that lock, but okay.
I don't want to completely ignore that possibility. But I can't imagine the culprit would have done all this just for a distraction.
If that's the case, then Kokichi's confession earlier was actually...
Seriously? You fucking lied again?
Cough it up, Kokichi!
Oh, man. You guys got me. Okay, I'm not the culprit.
You're telling the truth this time, right?
I want to say I'm lying, but I'm not.
Why did you say you were the culprit?
I wanted to lure the culprit out. If I claimed to be the culprit, then the real culprit would agree as well. You get me? And if they pressured me to confess, then that would have looked mighty suspicious. Sheesh. Darn it. It didn't go my way because Shuichi butted in on my plan.
You and your fucking lies! Go sit in the corner and play with yourself!
Okay, I'll start right now.
All right, so who's the asshole who set up this locked room mystery?
Mew, I can't hold it up anymore.
What's the matter? You going soft on me now?
Who made the locked room mystery doesn't matter, since anyone could have done it. Don't you even understand something as basic as that, you filthy cum dumpster?
Cum dumpster!
Wow, okay.
Finally! Someone finally called me a cum dumpster!
What should we talk about now?
Yeah, Gunta, good question. Okay, here's my question. Since anyone could have done it. Is that the case? Shouldn't it still only be either the student council or Kokichi? Because we're talking about whatever trick they used to lock the door afterward. They still had to have gotten inside the room first. And if they got inside, that means either they had to lockpick it like Kokichi, or they had to be a student counselor and called out to Angie, who would have then opened the door. Am I missing something here? You're saying who made the locked room mystery? Huh. Okay, I'm a bit confused.
We must focus not on the locked room, but on who entered Angie's lab.
Okay, Kyo once again doing me a solid and clarifying for me. Thank you.
Only one of the student council members or Kokichi could have gained entry. Therefore, the culprit must be among their number.
That leaves us with 4 suspects. Tsumugi, Gonta, Kibo, and Kokichi.
Well, technically 5, but we've just discounted Himiko outright.
Don't forget Himiko. She's also a part of the student council. Doesn't matter if she was besties with Angie, she's still a suspect.
That contradicts what you said earlier, which I can prove using my recording function.
It's fine. It's just a waste of time.
A suspect? I never kill Angie!
So, calling all suspects, what should we discuss next? I want to hear everyone's opinion. What would you say to get yourself off the suspect list?
Why are you trying to lead the debate? You're a suspect too.
Silence, outsider! Only the suspect rangers are allowed to speak.
Suspect rangers?
I agree. Those under suspicion should explain themselves thoroughly.
We might catch them with their pants down!
Anyway, I want to ask the suspect rangers. What should we talk about? What should we say to get ourselves off the suspect list? Well, guys, I want to hear what you think.
That's sort of a difficult question, you know?
Gonta not smart enough to know answer to that.
Yes, it is difficult to formulate a logical response to that question.
Not articulate with words, huh? Don't you guys want to prove your innocence?
Well, can we hear alibis? I mean, or are they just all gonna say they were sleeping?
They don't trust you one bit, and I don't blame them. You're probably plotting.
Why did Tenko have to die?
Ah. So that's what we're gonna talk about next, huh?
Huh?
I want to know what happened to Angie too, but... Can we talk about Tenko's case now and not just Angie's?
I got you exactly where I wanted, Himiko.
What do you mean?
You are technically changing the topic. I don't know if that's exactly what he's talking about, but...
The 2 victims could have been killed by 2 separate murderers, you know. So we need to find the first Blackened responsible for the first victim. We gotta figure out who killed Angie. Until we solve Angie's case, Tenko's case is meaningless. Did you suggest that to waste our time?
It's not meaningless!
Okay. I mean, I'm willing to hear you out.
Tenko's death was meaningless? How dare you! Poor Tenko! How could you do this to her? Himiko...
Himiko, stop it with your crappy lies.
Lies?
Everything you said is total BS. You didn't give 2 shits about Tenko when she was alive. But now you're like, oh no, poor Tenko, after she's dead. Come on, really?
Kokichi, enough!
No. It's okay. It's no surprise he'd think that. I know I ignored Tenko before. That's why I'm so upset now. I should have faced Tenko. Worked things out with her while she was still alive. But now, it's too late. I can't complain to her or thank her. It's too late.
Yeah, seriously! It's way too late to realize that now. Our only option is to face her death head on.
Face her death?
Himiko, I understand what you're going through. So I'm gonna help you out. Let's work together to find the truth. I'm not gonna let anyone say her death didn't matter.
Kaito. All right. I'll put a silencing curse on whoever calls Tenko's death meaningless. The name of the curse is Death Curse. I suppose being dead would silence someone pretty good.
Listen up! All you guys are gonna help out too. Abandoning someone who died and only thinking about your own survival. That's just as bad as a hit and run. I won't forgive something so messed up.
Tenko was our friend. Gonta wanna know why she died too.
I already told you that's so unnecessary. We're getting sidetracked here.
No, even if it was a different culprit, we need to know how Tenko died. If we don't find out who killed her, we won't be able to work together. Not now, not ever.
I mean, there is some merit to what he says. Otherwise, everything will be wrapped in a veil of suspicion.
Even if this trial isn't for her, in order for us to survive, we need to get to the bottom of Tenko's death.
I mean, I certainly want to know what happened.
Not just to survive this trial, but so we can keep going and live on!
Finally, you noticed. Jeez, you're so slow.
Huh? Did Kokichi want us to notice?
Don't listen to his crap. We haven't decided whether there were two different culprits yet.
Let us talk about Tenko's case then. Perhaps that will provide us a clue.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe.
Shuichi. What's got you hesitating? Abrupt change of topic. Is he pointing attention? Is Shuichi calling attention to Himiko or Kaito here?
So, what do we talk about first?
For now, let's see if we can narrow down the list of suspects.
Tancrotch probably got killed during the seance, so everyone there's suspicious. Tancrotch!
It was Kyo, Shuichi, Himiko, Kokichi.
That's it!
Yeah, they put Kibo on there.
It was me, Kyo, Himiko, and Kokichi.
Yeah. I was briefly worried if they'd count Kibo because he was technically there for... Well, he left before... Did he leave before the thing was drawn on the ground? I'm not sure, but... Okay, we got the answer.
So those four are the culprits!
Yes, all four.
Oh, Himiko's still culprit?
Yep, we all murdered her. Sorry, guys. Our bad.
Well, that's probably just a coinkydink. The most suspicious out of the four is really... Kyo. He suggested the whole seance idea.
True, I may have suggested it, but I explained the procedure beforehand, yes?
The problem is, you know, it's not like I haven't considered maybe Kyo, but the issue is if we take his whole deal, his whole vibe, his whole personality into account, is he the kind of person who would specifically... I mean, he's really on his whole anthropology thing, right? That's his whole deal. Would he actually be willing to screw up his own seance to commit murder? That's the thing. And if I believe that he's genuine about all of that stuff, I have trouble thinking it's him. But again, we're going back to China. I think that's... I think trying to figure out the reasons why someone might do something, I think that's the wrong way to do this, because I've always, whenever I try to do that in the past, I've always gone to the wrong conclusion. For example, with Kurumi, in the past trial, you know, I couldn't imagine why, and of course I couldn't imagine why. They reveal the reason for why she did it after the trial's over. So, it's wrong of me to try to think of a reason why. I just needed to think about the facts. And thinking about the facts, it's hard for me to believe, considering that we're thinking the culprit was probably beneath the floorboards, right? I think it was Himiko that was in the corner that the hole was at. So if it was Kyo, he would have had to gone over that corner, which you'd think Himiko would have noticed, or he would have he had to gone out the door, gone to the other classroom, gone down that hole in that room, commit the murder, then come back. And I doubt he could do that. I mean, we were all singing during that whole time. It happened as we were singing in that room. So clearly we were all still there in the room. So no, I don't think it's Kyo.
If we all knew of it before the murder, then we are all equally suspicious.
Well, I suppose, but...
In addition, the seance wasn't entirely in my control either. I was not the one who selected the room we performed it in. It was Himiko.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I had forgotten this. That was something I should have noted. That definitely makes her more suspicious. Right. Absolutely does. But again, okay, here's the meta reasoning popping back in here. We're not even halfway through. And the culprit does not get revealed this early. It just doesn't happen, right?
Also, we should not limit our suspects to only those who participated in the seance. The empty room had a point of entry from outside.
Yeah, I'm actually more inclined to think that those who participated in the seance are kind of cleared, in a sense. Oh my goodness, what am I...
There!
Yeah, okay.
You're talking about under the floor, right?
Huh? Under the floor?
Yes, there's a crawl space under the floor a person can move through. There was also a hole that connected it to the neighboring room.
If the culprit used the hole, they could have entered and exited the seance room.
If we consider that possibility, then there is another suspect.
Another suspect? Who?
It's appearing before me. Oh, I can see it clearly. The true identity of Tenko's killer.
Okay. Couldn't it be more than one person, though?
The culprit sneaked in during the seance by crawling under the floor.
But it was pitch black during the seance. How could they even see if they were under the floor?
Because it wasn't dark under the floor. You see, our villain had a light.
Light?
Oops.
You mean candle?
I mean Kibo's flashlight function.
Huh? Now hold on a second.
Kibo could have used that function to get under the floor and sneak into the empty room during the seance!
I said hold on a second.
He used his robot functions to commit the murders.
Hold on a second!
The culprit sneaked in during the seance by crawling under the floor.
Okay, let's see what these actually say. I'm a bit confused what we're trying to say here.
But it was pitch black during the seance. How could they even see if they were under the floor?
Because it wasn't dark under the floor. You see, our villain had a light.
Light? You mean candle?
I mean, Kibo's flashlight function. Now hold on a second.
Okay, this I just realized this is a lie opportunity. What would I even use it on though?
To get under the floor and sneak into the empty room during the seance.
I said hold on a second.
He used his robot functions to commit the murders.
Hold on a second!
The culprit sneaked in during the seance by crawling under the floor.
I'm gonna try
But
this.
it was pitch black during the seance. How could they even see if they were under the floor?
Because it wasn't dark under the floor. You see,
Nope. Okay.
I was wrong!
the culprit sneaked in during the seance by crawling under the floor.
But it was pitch black during the seance. How could they even see if they were under the floor?
Because it wasn't dark under the floor. You see, our villain had a light.
Light?
So not that
You mean
one.
candle?
I mean, Kibo's flashlight function.
Huh? Now hold on a second.
Kibo could have used that function to get under the floor.
No.
Damn it!
The culprit sneaked in during the seance by
Crawling under the floor. See if they were under the floor.
because
It wasn't dark under the floor.
you see, our villain had a light.
Light? You mean candle?
I mean, Kibo's flashlight function.
Huh? Now hold on a second.
Kibo could have used that function to get under.
I'll reveal the truth.
I did it.
Mew, you gave Kibo his flashlight function, correct?
Okay. 3 things. I want to say 3 things. First, I'm happy I actually got a back route once. Second thing, I have no idea what the actual correct answer was there. So a bit lost at the moment. Third thing, and this has much more relevance for the rest of the trial. First we suspected Himeko. Now we're suspecting Kibo. It's still not halfway through the trial. And look, Himeko and Kibo, they were my suspects. So now I'm thinking, what? What now? I mean, it's... Here's a thought that I don't want to think. Shuichi was a bit suspicious of the sudden change of topic. And while yes, so that could be either Himeko, but Kaito really encouraged it. And again, I don't want to suspect Kaito, but if we're gonna have to say, if we need to be serious about this, if we really want to get the culprit and everyone's on the table, let's think Kaito for a second. What if it's something like he's so afraid of the occult that he's willing to do anything to stop the ritual? Something like that. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of a reason. But again, I can't be thinking about reasons. Man, I don't know.
Did you not notice?
I didn't notice what?
It's hard to believe that Kibo is the culprit in this case. Well, you know, fine, Shuichi, just toss me in the garbage, why don't you?
The drawback of the flashlight function that you added. It's so bright, even Kibo can't see when it's turned on.
I see. That bright, huh? Wait, what? There's no way a genius like me would make that kind of rookie mistake!
But you make mistakes a lot. A whole lot.
Hey! If you're gonna fuck me in front of everyone, at least buy me dinner first!
If he can't see, it doesn't matter how bright the area is. He couldn't move like that. So Kibo couldn't have been underneath the floor.
Is that true, Kibo? Is what Shuichi said true?
Uh-oh. Oh
well,
no, he's too honest.
I'm so sorry. I just don't remember. Really, I'm sorry.
Oh.
Ah, we get it already! Just turn it off! We're gonna go blind!
You don't remember? What does that even mean?
Well, Shuichi, trying to make a fool out of me, huh? Let me put on some makeup, cause I want to at least look pretty before you decide to fuck me!
That's
Miyu is, she's getting a lot of action this trial thus far, huh?
Shuichi, I'm so sorry.
Oh.
Damn, that is seriously bright!
Wouldn't the light have shined through the gaps of the floorboard if it had been this bright?
That's a much better point, Maki. Thank you.
Yes. The culprit couldn't have used a light under the floor. Not even Kibo.
That's probably what the original answer was going to be. I'll be honest. Okay, this sounds like I'm just saying it. I did wonder that briefly, but I didn't. I wasn't able to fully think it all the way through. But yeah, I probably should have considered that back when I was thinking about Kibo as the culprit. Yeah, now the more I think about it now, the more I feel silly. The more I feel silly considering Kibo. Because they were loose floorboards, huh? We definitely would have seen that. Okay. Man, so if they... Whoever killed Tenko was just operating under complete darkness, huh? Yeah, now I'm just even further at a loss. Okay.
Oh, they couldn't have. We were there after all. We would know. There was a hole near the corner of the room we were in. Remember?
Well, see, okay, here's... They were saying he crawled up through the hole. We do know someone... We went down there ourselves. We know it's large enough to accommodate that. But I wasn't thinking someone... Because wasn't Himiko near that corner? I wasn't thinking that someone got up through the hole and walked over to the center and then killed Tenko. Because remember, there was no hole in the sheet. And I guess that's what this clue is supposed to tell us. We'll probably have a moment where someone's going to suggest that. But there's no hole in the sheet. So I'm thinking that she was killed by someone who was underneath the floor at the time. Now, I think this perspective is kind of odd. I'm not sure how much space is actually underneath the floor, because it looked kind of like there was a lot of room, but at the same time, when I moved the camera around, suddenly it didn't look like there was a lot of room. So I'm a bit unsure if someone had enough room to, they must have swung something very hard to make that thunk, right? But would they have enough space to do that?
If someone had a light under the floor, it would have leaked through.
Yeah.
But when we did the seance, I'm pretty sure the room was pitch black.
That's right. We didn't see anything, so the culprit couldn't have used a light.
And just because I have a built-in flashlight function does not mean I am the culprit. I see. That was a flaw in my theory.
Jeez, here I thought this would be the case where the murder could only be done by a robot.
You have accused me of being the culprit more than once now, simply because I am a robot. My status as a robot does not mean I am capable of performing superhuman feats.
Says flashlight recording man.
My vision is somewhat poor, and I only possess average physical strength and intelligence.
All right, you made your point. God, now I feel sort of bad for you.
I neither want nor need your pity.
Ouch.
Enough with the flashlight! It's way too bright!
It would have been difficult to move around under the floor in that pitch-black darkness. Maybe the floor and the hole have nothing to do with this case.
Then why was floorboard under Tenko lined up funny? Going to think that was so culprit could stab Tenko from under floor.
I'll be honest, Gonta. I was kind of right with you there.
Ooh, nice observation, Gonta. Are you finally getting used to the class trials?
Uh-huh. Thank you.
Don't say it like that. You're better off not being used to this kind of stuff.
Maybe they marked Tenko with glowing paint and looked for that.
Glowing paint, huh?
That'd let the culprit find her. Then they could stab her through the floorboards.
We have a DR1 reference and now a DR2 reference, huh?
Boy, that sounds
Yeah.
really familiar too. But I'm just gonna ignore it.
Her corpse didn't have any trace of glowing paint, though.
Interestingly, it's not just a random reference, but they're both references to the first trials. I would expect these references to have popped up in the first trial of this game, but they didn't, huh?
Oh, yeah. So then why was that floorboard loose?
I'm gonna guess that was the thunk.
The loose floorboard was the one under Tenko, right? If the culprit used it while she was still alive, she'd totally notice.
Who fucking cares? Fussing over that won't get us closer to the culprit!
We shouldn't dismiss this line of inquiry, however. Instead of butting our heads against this, how about we concentrate on another issue?
What other issue?
Perhaps first, we should figure out how and when exactly Tenko was killed.
When? So not during seance?
Tenko was in the metal cage for the whole seance, wasn't she? How could someone have gotten to her there?
Maybe the culprit killed her before she went under the metal cage.
Nope.
That's not possible. She was alive at that point.
Yep, we even heard her while she was underneath it.
Yes, she was unmistakably alive when the seance began.
That was right before we blew out the candles. But when the light came back...
The floorboard was removed at that point, so it's likely she was already dead then.
So she was killed when the room was dark?
But she was inside cage, right? Going to think it impossible to kill her then.
And she wasn't killed when the room was dark. It was a different time.
A different time?
I mean, the lights came back on? But Kia was calling out to her. Unless it was... I mean, I know we told... He told her... Kyo told Tenko that she mustn't speak, and the next time she speaks, it'll be Angie. So when Kyo was calling out to her, could it be the case that she was alive, but she wanted to stay quiet and let Angie speak?
How the fuck should I know? You figure it out, shitheads!
Thanks for your contribution, Mio, as always.
Huh? Since Gonta said it was impossible, I'm proposing an alternate theory. Now hurry up and think! If you want to make my golden brain tingle, start circle jerking your limp dick brains! When Tenko got killed, it wasn't during the seance.
It could not have been done at any other time. She was under the cage the whole time. And she was dead when the cage was lifted.
What about moment cage was lifted?
Ooh, like that.
When cage lifted, culprit stabbed Tenko real fast. So fast, no one saw.
Oh my!
So who lifted the cage?
It was me.
Then obviously Himiko is the culprit!
There's no doubt!
Well, this is clearly Miu's favorite trial.
When Tenko got killed,
Hang on a second. I just think I realized something. Shuichi Kokichi placed this over Tenko and Himiko removed it. Hang on a second. When was the dog statue still on top? No. No. They went through the whole process. No, I'm just misremembering things. Yes. I remember now. They went through the whole process one at a time, and then they took the dog statue and the sheet off one at a time. Okay, never mind. I'm misremembering. Okay, we're good. Okay.
It wasn't during the seance.
It could not have been done at any other time. She was under the cage the whole time.
That's
and
true.
She was dead when the cage was lifted.
What about moment cage was lifted?
Ooh, like that.
When cage lifted, culprit stabbed Tenko real fast. So fast, no one saw.
Oh my!
So who lifted the cage?
It was me.
Then obviously Himiko is the culprit!
There's no doubt!
Maybe the dog statue on the last statement?
When Tenko got killed, it wasn't during the seance. It could not have been done at any other time.
She was under the cage the whole time. And she was dead.
What about moment cage was lifted? When cage lifted, culprit stabbed Tenko
Real fast.
So
fast,
no one saw. Oh my!
So who lifted the cage?
Then obviously Himiko is the culprit!
Oh, you... No.
There's no doubt.
Dang it, Kokichi.
When Tenko got killed, it wasn't during the seance. It could not have been done at any other time. She was under the cage the whole time. She was dead when the cage was lifted. What about moment cage was lifted? When cage lifted, culprit stabbed Tenko real fast. So fast, no one saw. So who lifted the cage?
Then obviously Himiko is the culprit!
No.
I was wrong!
No, wait. Is it the
When Tenko got
sheet?
killed, it wasn't during the seance.
It could not have been done at any other time. She was under the cage the whole time. And she was
Maybe the
dead when
sheet.
The cage was lifted.
Because it had the blood on it, right?
What moment Cage lifted?
That's wrong!
Okay.
No, it wasn't possible to kill her the moment the cage was lifted. Because the inside of the white cloth had Tenko's
Yeah.
blood on it.
It had the blood on it before the cage. Yeah, yeah. Ooh,
That
kind of a
cloth
tough
was
one.
removed before the cage was lifted.
Yeah.
If Tenko was stabbed then, there wouldn't be blood on the cloth.
What? But how could my golden brain be wrong when it felt so right?
The only possibility is that Tenko was killed during the seance.
I got your remodel right here!
Oh.
No, it's still wrong to think that Tenko was killed during the seance.
What?
I'm gonna prove it right now. My golden brain is gonna go all out!
Okay, here we go.
Tenko died after the seance. It happened when the sheet was lifted. That was the moment the culprit chose to stab the fuck out of Tenko through the cage. They stuck the thin blade through the gap, and that clean white sheet got stained blood red!
But the weapon was a sickle. Only the blade could have fit through the gaps.
The blade's all you need. If you stick the blade through a gap in the cage, it'd be long enough to reach Tenko, sitting in there with her neck all exposed.
She wasn't sitting.
I was wrong!
The blade's all you need. If you stick the blade through a gap in the cage, it'd be long enough to reach Tenko, sitting in there with her neck all exposed.
Wait, what's the button? What's the right button?
She wasn't that far from the cage gaps. In which case, the person who lifted the and that's none other than Kyo!
I was actually hitting the wrong button this whole time.
The blade's all you need. If you stick the blade through a gap in the cage, it'd be long enough to reach Tenko, sitting in there with her neck all exposed.
Okay. I was hitting... Instead of the button to just break statements.
Wait just a minute. Tenko wasn't sitting down inside the cage.
Yeah, instead of, you know, there's the silencer button. I was hitting the submit button instead of the silencer button that whole time. So that's why it was taking so long to swing every time.
She was bent over with her forehead against the marker stone, and the cage itself was about 3 feet tall. The sickle's blade was too short to reach Tenko while she was in that position.
Okay, we're still looking at this from the idea that someone out... Where Shuichi and Kokichi are standing in this picture. We're thinking someone from the outside there did it. I was still thinking that it was underneath her. Hang on. Do we have the file for... We don't have a Monokuma file for her. Injury to the back of her neck.
Then I messed up again? How could this happen? I am so embarrassed.
No worries, Mew. Everyone already knows you're an embarrassment to the human race.
Yeah, no worries.
How embarrassing!
If Shuichi is right, then it's impossible for Tenko to have been killed through the cage.
She couldn't have been killed during the seance since she was in the cage, right?
If she was killed then, the cloth over the cage would have been pierced.
Not during the seance or from below the floor. Then it's impossible, isn't it?
Yeah, for a living person.
Huh?
What if Angie's spirit killed Tenko?
What are you talking about? That's not possible!
We don't know that. Some things are impossible for a human, but not for a spirit.
Don't say stupid stuff like that! Screw spirits!
Stop that now.
Angie's spirit killed Tenko? Why?
Himiko?
Why would Angie's spirit kill Tenko?
What if Tenko killed Angie, and then Angie's spirit came back for revenge?
Like I said, that's impossible! Spirits can't be culprits!
Then explain how the culprit killed Tenko under these impossible circumstances.
Well,
See? You can't explain, can you? Only a spirit could have done
wait! I know! What if the culprit was hiding inside the cage? If they were in there, they could have stabbed Tenko during the seance.
No. If there was someone else in the cage, we would have noticed.
I agree with Kaito. The culprit could have been inside the cage.
Nonsense. There was no space in the cage for the culprit to hide.
Maybe the culprit wouldn't need to hide in the first place.
What?
Also, the culprit could have killed her in the cage at any time. I think you know what I'm getting at, right?
What? No, don't do this to me. Okay, Smoogie. Nope.
Damn it!
And Mute. I don't know. He suggested it. She agreed. Who could have killed Tenko inside the cage at any time? It's not Miyu, it's not Tsumugi, it's not Himiko, it's not Kyo. We have Kaito, Gonta, Kokichi, Kibo, Maki. Nope, I lose.
Damn it!
Oh, I still get one shot left. Inexplicably Maki. No.
Oh no!
I lose.
Wait, just... She was bent over with her forehead against the and the cage itself was about 3...
Yeah. See? You can't explain, can you? Only a spirit could have done that!
If they were in there...
I was wrong!
Who do we have left? Kibo? Unless you're not saying... You're not saying it was something like suicide, was it? Ah.
I believe Maki is referring to Tenko herself.
Oh, man. That sucks. Oh. So I guess that's what I get for just assuming this was a murder in the first place, huh? We know that she did feel terrible after yelling at Himiko the night before. And then she seemed strangely upbeat. She set those death flags. Was that because she was already resolved to do it? Oh.
What did you say? Are you saying Tenko is the culprit?
She committed suicide.
Suicide?
If she committed suicide, it would explain a lot of things we couldn't figure out. She volunteered to be in the cage, and then stabbed herself during the seance. It wouldn't matter how dark the room was.
But the sickle she was stabbed with was under the floor, right? If Tenko had stabbed herself, wouldn't the sickle still be inside the cage?
Oh my god. Mew actually said something smart.
Perhaps that explains why the floorboard was removed. After stabbing herself with the sickle, she threw it underneath the floor.
So she took off the floorboard to get rid of the sickle?
Yes, that makes sense to Gonta.
Well, it doesn't make sense to me. There's no reason for Tenko to commit suicide.
Maybe I wasn't too far off with the theory I had earlier. You know, about Tenko killing Angie.
Yeah?
Because Tenko and Angie were fighting for your attention, right? Tenko's pent-up frustration led her to commit such an atrocity. Her conscience couldn't handle it anymore, so she decided to end her own life.
What?
But if she was gonna kill herself, why do it during the seance?
She wanted to hide the truth of her suicide.
Really? Why?
There could only be one reason to hide it in a killing game, right? It's to take us down with her.
Take us down?
This I don't believe.
She wanted us to pick the wrong answer during the class trial, so she could bring us all down. She wanted us to die with her. Okay, well, she probably just wanted Himiko to die with her, but still.
But what are you saying? Tenko wasn't like that. She told me.
What if all of that was just a lie?
A lie?
Wait! We should believe Tenko's last words!
The true terror of class trials is that you shouldn't believe everything said.
Himiko, you said that Tenko would never do anything like that. But how can you be so sure? Did you guys actually know each other? People keep all sorts of secrets. Like Maki. She hid the fact that she's a cold-blooded killer. Is it wise of us to trust other people wholeheartedly in this kind of situation?
Jeez, you're such a naive dude.
Naive?
We're all just people, you know? Of course we're gonna have some secrets. What matters is whether there's any malice behind them.
People can lie about how malicious their hidden secrets really are.
Well, duh. It's impossible to know for sure what others are thinking. That's why it all comes down to whether or not you believe in yourself. If you get betrayed, it's not their fault. It's your fault for believing in them. That's why I believed in Maki Roll, because I wanted to believe in her.
Just because you're acting all cool doesn't mean you get to skip training.
Hey, come on. Don't you think you're being a little too strict?
Well, we come from different backgrounds. So for now, let's agree to disagree. No one's ever called me naive before. And from Kaito? Seriously?
Whether or not I believe, my heart can't reach Tenko anymore. But I want to believe in her. She wouldn't commit suicide. She wouldn't try to take us down. That's what I want to believe!
Me too. Gonta no can believe Tenko commits suicide.
But if Tenko did commit suicide, that would answer all of our questions.
If you insist we believe in Tenko, then provide a reason to do so.
All right, I'll give you a reason.
Is there a reason?
Yes, there is. Will you trust me, Maki? If it turns out I'm wrong, you can blame me all you like. But for now, I need you to trust in my detective work.
I'll see you guys after the seance. Okay.
So far, our suicide. That seems to be the best explanation.
Her plan was to take us down with her. So she hid her true intentions.
Tenko's not that kind of person!
But if Tenko did commit suicide, it would explain how she died during the seance.
She could have secretly brought the sickle and then stabbed herself with it.
Finally, with the last of her strength, she threw the sickle underneath the floor. All the pieces fit.
So far, suicide seems to be the best explanation.
Her plan was to take us down with her. So she hid her true intentions.
Okay.
Tenko's not that kind of person! But if Tenko did commit suicide, it would explain how she died during the seance.
She could have secretly brought the sickle and then stabbed herself with it.
Finally, with the last of her strength, she threw the sickle underneath the floor. All the pieces fit.
Dang it.
Her plan was to take us down with her. So she hid her true intentions. Finally, with the last of her strength,
Threw the sickle underneath the
Ah,
floor.
dang it.
all the pieces fit.
Come on, come on.
Her plan was to take us down with her. So she hid her true intentions.
With the I'll reveal the truth.
Okay.
Tenko couldn't have thrown the sickle under the floor.
It's interesting. It's just dawning on me now that this back route system is actually makes it easier in a sense. Because on the moments where I know there's only one answer and I just can't think of it, then I'm stuck. But here, I can think of more than one angle. I can think of it, the actual thing, or I could think of what I could lie about. And so, just like the previous back route, I actually am not quite sure what the proper answer is, but I could immediately see what the lie was. So that's interesting.
Because she died instantly.
instantly.
I'm certain of it. My investigation determined that she died instantly.
What's your opinion, Maki? I'd like to hear it from someone who specializes in murder.
Okay. Is she gonna be like Kibo, or...?
Maki.
You're right. I completely forgot about that important detail.
Alright.
Tenko died instantly.
She's made her choice.
What?
As an assassin, I specialize in killing my targets swiftly. I have no doubt that Tenko was killed immediately.
Words of a true killer. Pretty sure we can believe everything she said.
How could you forget that, Maki Roll? You better apologize to Shuichi.
Excuse me?
It's okay, Kaito, really. No apology necessary. Anyway, Tenko died so suddenly that she couldn't have gotten rid of the sickle. Knowing that, the theory that she killed herself just doesn't fit, correct?
Just like I thought. Tenko wouldn't commit suicide.
Thank goodness, Himiko.
Which means someone definitely killed Tenko during the seance.
Her suicide was considered because we could not determine how she was killed.
No! There must have been a way! We're gonna figure it out!
Did any of the participants witness anything peculiar during the seance? If you know something, please speak up. It could be the key to solving this mystery.
Oh, another non-stop debate. These are starting to drag on me.
Did anything seem out of the ordinary during the seance?
There is something that bothers me. The fact that the seance failed. The ritual was perfect, and yet it failed. How utterly strange.
Now that I think about it, while we were all singing the song, I heard something fall.
I'm more concerned about how dark it got in there. I mean, it was totally pitch black. My job was to relight the candles. Moving along the walls was seriously tough.
Okay, seems simple enough.
Did anything seem out of the order?
During the seance, there is something
Something.
that bothers me. The fact that the
Seance failed. The ritual was perfect. Utterly strange.
Now that I think about it, while we were all singing the song, I heard something.
I agree.
Consent.
Himiko, you think that something fell because of that sound you heard, right?
It sounded like something heavy fell down and hit the floor really hard. What could have fallen down?
Fallen down? There wasn't anything on the ceiling that could have fallen down, right?
Am I wrong? I thought something fell, but
The sound was pretty loud. It did seem like something hit the floorboards.
I'm gonna guess the loose floorboard.
This is it!
Yes. I mean, that's what I thought originally.
I think the floorboard coming off had something to do with that sound. That floorboard came loose at some point during the seance, right?
could the floorboard have made such a loud sound, though?
It was the sound of an intense impact.
If the impact was that intense, then it could have loosened the floorboard.
All right then, let's go with that. We all gotta put our heads together now.
Not another one. No! Please, no.
So what made the floorboard come loose?
Judging from the sound, there must have been considerable force.
Someone who participated in the seance. Maybe that person tore off the floorboard.
That wouldn't make such a loud crashing sound.
Maybe the wooden statue fell over.
But that statue was still on top of the cage.
Culprit hide under floor. Then stood up with such might.
Nope.
I was wrong!
I mean, okay, fair enough.
So what made the floorboard come loose?
Judging from the sound, there must have been considerable force.
Someone who participated in the seance. Maybe that person tore off the floorboard.
That wouldn't make such a loud crashing sound.
Maybe the wooden statue fell over.
But that statue was still on top of the cage.
culprit hide under floor.
Stood up with such might.
But we already said there was no one under the floor.
Someone must have stomped through the floorboard.
A floorboard that comes loose when you step on it is dangerous. God, it's like I'm the only one here who's staying on the ball.
You hardly have any experience with balls to say that, Mew.
Don't be stupid. Don't you know me and balls are the best of friends?
So what made the floorboard come loose?
Judging from the sound, there must have been considerable force.
Someone who participated in the seance. Maybe that person tore off the floorboard.
That wouldn't make such a loud crashing sound.
Maybe the wooden statue fell over.
But that statue was still on top of the cage.
Culprit hide under
Floor. Then stood up
with such might.
But we already said there was no one under the floor.
Someone must have stomped through the
Floorboard.
I agree.
Kokichi is right. The floorboard came loose because someone stomped on it.
Okay, I'm gonna admit, Not really what I was thinking, but okay.
The floorboards fit perfect. Going to make sure, first time we go to empty room.
When we first saw the room, yes. But when I looked again during the investigation, one of the cross pieces supporting the floorboards was cut off. After examining the cut, I concluded that it must have been done deliberately.
Someone? You mean the culprit, right? Why'd they do that?
What did the culprit stand to gain by cutting the cross piece?
Okay. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh, okay, that was actually a complete guess. No. Seesaw? Is it seesaw effect or something like that? Just be cool.
I see now.
Oh, so it could have been. Well, it's probably one of us that was in the room then.
That's right. The floorboard might have been used as a seesaw.
Seesaw?
The crosspiece at one end of the floorboard had been cut off. The other two crosspieces holding up that board were close to the cage. Meaning, if you were to apply force to the end of the floorboard with no crosspiece, the next
Oh my
crosspiece
goodness.
would act as a fulcrum to turn the floorboard into a lever. A lever capable of lifting up Tenko's entire body.
Her whole body lifted up?
Yeah, that sounds like a seesaw, all right. But why bother lifting Tenko's body?
They couldn't have killed Tenko like that. Unless they used the sickle.
That's exactly it. Using the seesaw trick, it was possible to kill Tenko with a sickle.
Huh? How?
In order for the culprit to kill Tenko with a seesaw trick, the placement of the sickle is the most important factor.
Was it placed in the cage? The victim. Top of the cage?
That's it!
Oh my goodness.
The sickle was at the top of the iron cage, with the blade facing down. The reason we didn't see it was because of the fabric covering the cage. Also, the wooden statue kept the blade in place. It's true that the sickle's handle was thick, which made the statue wobble.
So it's part of the dog? No. It was a separate sickle. So,
But the statue's weight kept it from falling over.
Yeah. So the sickle was under the sheet. Dog was on top. How did that work? Wouldn't we feel that when we put the dog statue on top? I'm a bit confused about that, because you'd feel like the dog statue wouldn't neatly go down on the cage, right? There'd be something... It would be tilting, wouldn't it be? Huh.
Once everything was in place, if you stepped hard enough on the seesaw, Tenko's body would have shot upward and hit the blade on the top.
And it didn't
of the
look...
cage.
I have to look at the cage again. It didn't seem like there was any spots big enough for the blade to go through, but it's not like I was looking for that before, so maybe I just missed it. Oh my.
She was bent over, meaning the sickle's blade would have connected with her neck.
The 6-inch sickle blade wasn't long enough to stab Tenko in her crouched position. But with the floorboard acting as a seesaw, it could compensate for the blade's length.
Bringing the victim to the sickle rather than bringing the sickle to the victim. That's definitely an unorthodox idea.
It's crazy, but it would explain how Tenko got stabbed while she was in the cage.
So the sound we heard was the culprit stomping on the floorboard.
That impact make floorboard come loose.
Looks like we got ourselves a good old-fashioned seesaw homicide. Wait, what the hell's a seesaw homicide? That's fucking crazy!
I agree, Miu, that this is insane.
The craziness is what really makes the killing game fun, you know? They can't get away with murder the normal way, so they gotta think outside the box. Kudos, culprit! You did a great job keeping me entertained.
Indeed. Well played, Himiko.
Yeah?
It was you, wasn't it? The one behind the seesaw homicide.
Huh? Why her?
Because she's the only one capable of carrying out this plan.
The only one? Why's that?
Because this seesaw homicide required its location to be prepared beforehand.
By cutting the crosspiece beneath the floorboard, you mean?
Then the culprit would need to lure their victim into the prepared room. That is why you chose that room for the seance. Is it not, Himiko?
Oh yeah! Himiko was the one who chose the site for the seance!
Yeah.
She likely found out about my plans for the seance somehow.
You were quite vocal about the seance, Kyo. You even had instructions for it in your lab.
Our culprit, Himiko, prepared her seesaw trap ahead of time. Then she waited for me to host the seance, and suggested the middle room. She led us all into holding the seance right where she wanted it. Then, she killed Tenko, all according to plan.
That's a lie, right? Himiko did such a thing?
In the end, Himiko, who Tenko cherished and loved, tragically killed her.
Wait! We don't know that, right? He's wrong, right, Himiko? Himiko would never kill Tenko, right?
Kill Tenko? I killed Tenko?
Himiko?
What's wrong, Himiko?
Oh my goodness. Oh, okay. Oh, Oh, I'll be honest, waiting for that to happen. Every additional nonstop debate, I was thinking, please let this be the last one before the break. Wow, okay. And of course, the kicker to all of this is, of course, we're still not really dealing with Angie's death, now are we? Okay. Yeah, I'll be honest, that the Tenko thing really got me. I think it's similar to the first trial where, you know, I didn't even consider that our protagonist could be an option. It was just, in my head, I was thinking, this is a murder. She's been murdered. And so I didn't even think to consider suicide. Which I really probably should have, since this isn't the first time we've had that in a Danganronpa game. In fact, we had it in the first Danganronpa game. And someone reminded me, actually I think a couple people reminded me, I think at one point in the previous episodes I asked whether or not we've ever had to vote for a dead person. I might have suggested that Tenko committed suicide. Because that's probably where that comment came from. And then people told me, yeah, I asked, did we ever have to vote for a dead person before? And then people reminded me that we did in DR1. Oh my goodness, did I actually suggest that Tenko may have committed suicide, and then when we're in the actual trial, I forgot about that entirely? Wow. That's, I don't know what that says about me. Okay. Well, certainly this has been an emotional roller coaster thus far. Can't even imagine what the next half is going to bring, because we could get the killer revealed here, and then the killer just says, okay, so what? I'm not the one you should be voting for because I didn't kill Angie. You know, we could still have a pretty crazy moment like that ahead. Oh, and I'm definitely not going to be recording anymore tonight. I'm going to end it here, and then in the next, I'll probably have to wait a couple days before I record again. Because I'm going to need, this has already gone on for over 2 hours, so I'm going to need another time where I have time. Okay. I'm going to give myself a little pat on the back for actually getting not one, but 2 back routes. Finally did it. And as I said, interesting that it actually seems to make things easier, because once I know that there's a back route, if I can't think of one way, I can just think of how to lie, and that seems to work. Okay, cool. In any case, I've been the Worm. This has been Danganronpa V3. I hope you're all doing all right, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.